Hi everybody, Bumpkin in Chief back here again in the great outdoors. I want to discuss another topic with you, and that is who we think is one of the most important men in our government and also one of the most important men in our government's history. I know a lot of people will see this video and think that we've lost our minds, but if you've got an historical perspective, if you've got a measure of history and what has gone on, I think by the end of this video you'll probably may not totally agree with me, but at least understand where I'm coming from on this. First of all, let's look at the composition of the U.S. Congress. Now, you can ask your liberal friends and those people that think Obama should pay their mortgage and their car payment and get their satellite TV for them and things. Ask them the question, what's the difference between the House of Representatives and the Senate? Don't expect too much of an answer. And if anybody is watching this video this far, that at this point, today is June the 9th, 2011, thinks that Obama's doing a great job and you would vote for him to be reelected, I don't think that you need to be watching this video. You're probably wasting your time. You probably need to go on with what you were doing, do something else. But to everybody else that wants to learn something, you've come to the right place. The U.S. Congress is styled somewhat on the British Parliament, and they have the House of Commons and the House of Lords. The House of Commons, of course, by the name indicates that it's a body, a legislative body that pretty much represents the ordinary people, the common people. And the House of Lords are those that are more of the aristocratic type, more with the what shall we say, have a finer sense of the world and the cosmopolitan outlook on things, not provincial. And the framers of our Constitution, they styled it in part on that, but we have other features in our government as laid down by them, originally founded, which are the best word I can use is inspired, because it's pure genius, and I'll show you how that works here in a couple minutes. Okay, so our U.S. House of Representatives, the big difference between the House of Representatives and the Senate. The House of Representatives is that body that is more concerned with the states or the state from which they come. You know, each state is apportioned a representative according to an increment of population. One state might have 15 representatives, while another state might have 4 representatives. A small state like Rhode Island wouldn't have as much representation in the U.S. House as, let's say, California. And so they're concerned with their constituents and how everything affects that state that they come from, because they are close to the people. There's more of them, and which means they represent fewer constituents than a senator would. So the representatives are more for how it affects their state and more for their constituents. While the U.S. Senate, you only have 2 senators per state, which means a small state like Rhode Island has the same number of states as a large state like California or Texas or New York. In Rhode Island, one senator might represent maybe 500,000 people, 1,000,000 people. I don't know the populations, but I know it's small. Whereas in California, one senator might represent 5 million, whatever this population in California is, 10 million, half of that population. New York, same thing, one senator representing a lot of people. And so as a senator, you represent in a smaller portion the interests of your home state, But more importantly, and I think this is uh, the thing that, or the area in which a lot of senators have failed and let down because they seek to re-election is the name of the game. But a senator is one that has to take a world view and how things will affect the entire nation, um, and how the United States interfaces with the rest of the world. We know this because the Constitution gives to the Senate, and not the House of Representatives, but the Senate, that authority to ratify treaties and to validate and to uh, second, you might say, the nominees or confirm the nominees of the president uh, for, like, the U.S. Supreme Court. And of course, they're not elected, but it's by the senators and other judgeships, federal judgeships, and cabinet appointees, and also in the military around high-ranking military officers. So the Senate has a greater breadth of responsibilities than the House of Representatives. Now, let's look at the genius of the Constitution. The Constitution has one feature that scares the political class out of their minds and scares President Obama out of his mind. What is that? That's power to the people. They don't want the people to have power. They want to have power. This is why the president is on record as saying that our Constitution is flawed. I want to tell you the genius of the Constitution. Even though the senators, they have all this authority when it comes to high uh, responsibility, worldwide, you might say, authority to pass on the treaties and all these other things and confirmations of high government officials. They have all that power and all that authority, but there's one thing that they don't have. And I don't know if you've ever heard the story about the sphincter muscle in the anus when the body began to, other parts of the body began to brag and boast about how important they were. Oh yeah, they were the eyes, nobody can go anywhere without me. You'll fall and stumble. The legs, we take you places. And the ears, we hear things. And the hands, all that we do. And the stomach, we start the digestion process. And without us, or without me, you couldn't do anything. And they were all spouting off about how great they were. But yet the sphincter muscle in the anus, it didn't do anything. And when you have a bowel movement, the sphincter muscle's got to open up. Well, the sphincter muscle didn't do anything. And this went on for a while. The sphincter muscle just listened to all these other body parts brag about how great they were and grandiose they were. And after a while, the stomach began to complain. Oh, I feel sick. And the other body parts, it began to radiate throughout the body. And pretty soon they realized that there was one body part that could shut everything down and close everything off, and be it ever so humble, this was the one that had the control. So whatever you might think about the House of Representatives, there's one thing that the House of Representatives has, and especially right now, they have it. And this is where John Boehner comes into the picture as one of the most important men in the history of the United States and in the history maybe of the world. And right now, in the economic problem that we have, probably the most important man in the United States government is Representative Boehner, because nobody does anything without money in the government. And money doesn't come anywhere but from the House of Representatives. No spending bills. It has to originate there. And why is that? Because the people have the power in this nation. The people have the financial power in this nation. The people's house have the financial power in this nation. And you don't think that Mr. Obama and the Democrats and the socialists and the communists in our government would like to change that? Oh, yes. That's why they campaign so hard and all the other shenanigans and things that they want to get a Democrat majority again in the House of Representatives. But the constitutional conservatives, we understand this, and we want a conservative House of Representatives for this very purpose. Nothing is going anywhere unless the House of Representatives okays the funding for it. And that, my friend and friends, is the power that John Boehner has right now as the leader of the Republicans in the House of Representatives and the Speaker of the House to do a complete reversal of the course we're on by not funding anything except what is necessary, what is needed from a conservative view. In my opinion, they should start at the bottom and start cutting or not funding, defunding everything that is not really needed in this nation until we can get our debt situation under control, get a balanced budget, and get ourselves back to fiscal sanity and a free market is what's needed. So the Tea Party candidates have given Mr. Boehner that backing, and I think they have actually given him some resolve. I hope it is so. And I think right now the Tea Party and the Tea Party candidates, I think there's going to be more of them in the 2012 election, but I think they're the ones that are going to make this whole thing work simply by controlling the money. And the power of that belongs to the people's house. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.